Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm Ken Crocker here with Andrew Tenjum. Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ken?
All right, so let's talk about the second most popular deck in the room, just besides Esper Dragons. We're going to call this some Abzan Megamorph. So it's sort of like your stereotypical Abzan deck because we're still running, your Courser Crewfix and your Siege Rhinos, but we got a little bit of spice in here. We got the two Megamorph creatures. We got Den Protector and Deathmist Raptor. So what are these cards doing for this deck that they weren't doing for the other Abzan decks?
Well, Deathmist Raptor and Den Protector provide an attrition engine that is very difficult to deal with, especially for the control decks such as the Esper Dragon deck. And they give you inevitability going to the late game, which is something that the other Abzan decks don't necessarily do.
So speaking of the late game, we also have just a two of, though, Mastery of the Unseen. So why is it only two? And exactly how is this helping you in the late game against probably Esper Dragons, if anything?
Yeah, it's a difficult to deal with enchantment because the Esper Dragon decks aren't playing any enchantment rule or anything. But there's only two because we plan on the game going late and we only need one in play. So we really only need to draw one. But basically, it has a lot of synergies with the other cards in the deck. Anything we manifest, we can flip up and get back our Deathmist Raptors. Or we can manifest a Den Protector and use its Megamorph ability and regrowth any card we want.
So I've seen in similar versions to this deck that they were playing some Whisperwood Elementals, but you decided to just completely eschew the 5-drop. Why is that?
I just feel like in this deck that there's already a lot of stuff to do with the mana between the Den Protectors and Master of the Unseen that you don't really need to go that high. And Den Protector already sort of takes up the 5-drop slot in the deck because normally you don't want to play it before turn 5 because it can just get killed, whereas if you wait till you have 5 mana, you can play it as a morph and then flip it up in the same turn.
So you're pretty much just trying to always get value out of your Den Protector.
Yes, exactly.
Whether it's getting something back and Deathmist Raptoring or just getting something back. And speaking of some spells to get back, we have a bunch of assortment of spells with some weird numbers. So let's start off with maybe just one of the weirdest ones. We only have one Dromoka's Command. So we see Dromoka's Command in the Bant Heroic and some of the Abzan aggro, but it's usually like a 3 or 4 up. Why only one?
Well, Dromoka's Command is a very powerful magic card. However, in a deck with black cards where we get actual premium removal, such as Hero's Downfall and Ultimate Price, it's not actually as useful because there's other cards that can accomplish the same goal. But I do like the one because it deals with enchantments, which no other card in the deck can.
Fair enough. So in case you're in the mirror or something, or you want to get rid of their Courser, you can 2-for-1 them that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're speaking of some removal you have. The black removal that you have are 2 Heroes Downfalls, 2 Ultimate Prices, and 2 Foul Tongue Invocations. Now, I don't see any dragons in this list, Andrew.
There are no dragons.
What are the Foul Tongues doing for you?
Well, primarily the Foul Tongue Invocations are for Esper Dragons, which we thought would be the most popular deck
which
this
you were right.
After it dominated GP Krakow. And it's a clean answer to Ajutai and Silumgar, which there's no other removal spell in the format that can say the same. It's just a clean 1-for-1 answer, and it's instant speed.
And then finally you have 2 Abzan Charm. Now what mode on Abzan Charm are you using the most in this deck? Or is it just that versatile that it's pretty much just all of them?
It's just like all the other Abzan decks. All 3 of the modes are very useful. Against the slower decks, you usually use the draw cards mode, but when you're being the control deck, then you use it as a removal spell.
And like any good deck, this one has the ability to morph after sideboard, or Megamorph after sideboard, if you will. So we have like a control package here, which seems like 2 Elspeths, an End Hostilities, maybe another Foul Tongue. When are you switching over to the control role with this deck?
We board in the Elspeths and possibly End Hostilities against most of the creature decks, most of like the green decks. It's good to go over the top of what they're doing, and Elspeth does that very well.
Sure. So, and then we also have what looks like to handle the aggro package, we also have some self-inflicted wounds, a couple Drown in Sorrows, and another Dromoka's Command. So I assume that's for the aggro matchups?
Yeah, there's a few different aggro decks in this format, and we just have an assortment of cards that deal with all of them.
So like pretty much every Abzan deck, we can take any kind of mode we want, but this one we're trying to get extra value out of the Megamorphs.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Andrew, I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for taking the time to side us in from the sideboard. Really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more standard action here at the Cleveland Open.